Hello, this is Sam Simon, aka also known as Dementia Man, for my video blog for the week of May 5th, 2025. I'm going to have a discussion about my wonderful experience at the American Society on Aging's conference last week called On Aging. Susan, my cognitive navigator, were down there. We went, as I have to, a day early and uh, you know, I was worried about going. It felt really big. They said they're going to be nearly, and there were about 1,600 people, and it felt very small for that. There were people who mainly work in the area, professionals in the aging area. And my goal was to bring the ideas from Dementia Man of living a meaningful life with this disease and the power of theater to change narratives and some of the changes I want to see in the experience of um, a more engaged um, medical systems, creating ADA accommodations through having cognitive navigators uh, available and cognitive navigation available in stores and transportation and getting rid of that D word, dementia. And Susan and I were really surprised. First of all, we were well noticed, we were welcomed, and there was a lot of information that was helpful to us. And our session, um, the Dementia Man session, which had a showcase version of the play, was very well attended. And a couple of things that I learned while I was there, and I'm going to look down here because I want to pull this up here real quick for me, not necessarily for you, which is that there is a movement, a change, an understanding that aging isn't about aging, about struggling to live as you get older. Um, that instead there is a different framework, a different uh, language around that, and that is longevity. Um, there was a keynote speaker for the second day of the conference, Ken I think it's called pronounced Deichwald. You can go to agewave.com to see information about him. And I thought it was an extraordinarily well presented presentation. It shows how much of our population is getting older. Now, there wasn't a whole lot other than me about our diseases and living well with dementia and living a meaningful life. And yet it did recognize that that is possible. And they did acknowledge that sometimes after diagnosis, it can be 5 to 10 years with the disease. And so longevity is even for those of us with cognitive diagnosis. So he was really great. And I really enjoyed that. And so I put that idea, it's not about aging, it's about longevity. It's not about when it ends, but how well we thrive as we live. It's longevity. Then there was a session by Michael Zundell, my buddy. We've talked about it. He was been a guest on this podcast. Um, and Michael had a session on getting rid of the D word. And I had made a promise to him. So, how do we get rid of the D word? Well, one of the ways is we got to get it out of our language. So, at some point in the not too distant future, the play Dementia Man is going to be renamed to an existential journey. That'll be the name of the play. An existential journey, life with cognitive, with Alzheimer's. My Life with Alzheimer's. I think that's what we're, see, I came up with the new title even today. Will take us a little while, but we'll get there. And thank Michael for being part of a program. There is no doubt that the word itself discourages people. It creates this tragedy narrative. It evokes end stages when in fact, and I heard this from Michael and others, that there's 5 to 10 years typically, and one can live well in community with cognitive diseases, with Alzheimer's. We just need to adapt our society to accommodate those, like having cognitive navigators and signs in stores with saying cognitive navigation here. How about that? But the most important thing and moving thing. So my session was to introduce the play, the ideas behind the play, that somebody with the disease like this can, in fact, be in theater and present theater. And I performed the showcase version. It's about 20 minutes, where the full show is an hour long. And got to meet a lot of people, and the reaction was well. But later in the day, a gentleman who had been at just the showcase in a room of about 40 people found us again. And his name is PJ Family, Fameli, Family. And PJ had left my session, went to his room, and he wrote a poem. He wanted me to have it. Now, it's copyrighted by him. It's copyrighted by PJ Family, but it's available for my use. So what I want to do today is to encourage everybody who hears and listens to this, whether you're just a person who has an interest in this field, who likes the power of theater making change, but poetry makes change too. So theater, poetry. In fact, I've written some other poetry, and we're going to create a section on our website of poems, and we'll include a written copy of this. They'll be copyrighted, so proper recognition if you want to use it. And if you're going to use it commercially, you need to get permission, but you know that. So PJ wrote this poem. It's called A Liminal Waltz for Samuel A. Simon. He once was a troublemaker, chalk in his pockets, questions on fire, the kind of child who talked to stars and dared the rules to blink first. Now he walks a quieter edge, where clocks melt into shadows and keys hide like clever riddles. He swears he almost remembers. This is the liminal world, the place between the tethered and the drifting, where yesterday wears new clothes and the morning rewrites itself by noon. They call it mild cognitive impairment, but what it really is standing in a room with all the lights on and still not finding the door. Yet he dances. In the ballroom of his mind, he waltzes with everyone he's ever known. The rhythm stumbles, yes, but never the heart. There's music in the nothingness place, soft and the voice of his beloved. His compass, though, through the fog. He is steady north when memory pains. She is the map he's lost and still somehow follows. She reads the signs when he cannot, writes love letters in the margins of his days. Yes, he forgets his keys and names, and sometimes time itself. But love, that's the one art he's never lost. Again, PJ Family, Famels. So I am renewed and rejuvenated by my experience and by the program and the learning that I had on aging, and redetermined to keep doing this work. You can help. I'll make a little pitch here because we're going to start a end of year, fiscal year fundraising campaign. You too can become a producer of Dementia Man. Just go onto our website, www.dementiaman.com, and click on donate, and their contribution levels. We do have merch on there too, and once we have it up, you're going to see that with gifts of around $250 or more, you're going to be able to get something like one of our special hats or coffee cups or t-shirts. So anyway, keep following us, keep checking on the website, and write some poetry.